Well, Kevin, this has been cool, man, giving us a peek behind the curtain. And it's cool to obviously hear your story is a bit different. Like you said, Tony, like you kind of experienced a lot of the stuff really early in your life that forced you to grow up quicker and adapt your perspective. That, again, sometimes it takes getting punched in the face later on in your life to have to experience that perspective. And you were thrown to the wolves kind of right away, and I think that served you well as a man, once you're able to get through that. So I think that was the coolest part for me to hear. But love you being open about the Hollywood business. And I think also, you said something early in the beginning that resonated with me. You were willing to walk away from something that was super cool and super exciting that I'm sure as a young stuntman you would have dreamed of doing, right? If you could have looked in a crystal ball when it was day one of your career saying, all right, in 18 years, you're going to be doing this, you would have taken that deal, 100 times out of 100. So the fact that you had the maturity to step away from that, even though that was like literally best case scenario playing out for you, because you had a perspective of like, all right, I want to spend time with my family. I know that for a lot of people, they wouldn't be able to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and make that decision. And I thought that's a testament to you as a man. And it's one of those things, you can't get over-indexed on the things that don't actually matter in the end. You know what I mean? And back to who you are, not what you are, right? Because eventually those things are going to go away. And then what's left? Well, family will be one of those things. So I thought that was really cool perspective you shared there as well.
Yeah, thank you. It was, like I said, being thrown into the wolves helped me. Like the best thing ever happened to me. So if I was pretty like you guys, I'd probably be a huge asshole.
It's crazy. I mean, kids are freaking ruthless, man. And it's like they're not mature enough yet at that age to realize like how big of a deal it is. Someone with like a cleft lip and like, you know what I mean? Like, as an adult, you would, of course, never in a million years say something because you have the maturity to realize like that's, you know what I mean? But as like a 6th grade kid trying to boost your stock amongst your buddies, you think it's cool to bully this kid. So that's a tough time, man, especially middle school with the hormones. And middle school is already super awkward as
middle
it is.
School's crazy.
You're starting to get hair on your armpits.
Yeah.
You're starting to get like, I think, zits on your face.
Yeah.
Your voice. Remember the voice cracking?
Oh my God.
That was the biggest thing. I remember I spoke in front of the auditorium and like I was all nervous, and like the first word that came out, it was the worst voice crack ever, and everyone's nudging each other, laughing. It's like that was, man, 6th to 8th grade was freaking terrifying. So the fact that you had to battle that with other stuff going on. Just on top of that, I can't imagine that, but cool how you pushed through it and then became a good athlete, and the rest was history.
Yeah, I think also kids are resilient, man. I mean, I went through a lot more than most kids do, but a lot of people like soft parent nowadays. I have 3 daughters, and they're all tough as shit because it's tough love. I'm a little hard on them, and I give them a hug, but I can't believe you made your daughter uncomfortable. Like she kicked a cat, like she got me uncomfortable, whatever she did, Then I'm gonna give her a hug afterwards, but. They cry but that's how they toughen up. You have to have the right amount of trauma in your life to be able to be a well-rounded person. And I think that's something I'm trying to talk to without like giving them, doing my philosophy and stuff. Like, but yeah, kids are resilient. Like I went through that and I was better for it. If you go through half of it, I think it's probably, if you're shielded from any of that, you're probably not going to be a great person at the end of the day. I mean, one day you might get there, but
Yeah, it's where the dose is everything. I think we were talking about with Derek Wolf as far as like providing your kids kind of the playground to make mistakes and for you to be giving harsh feedback at times, like in little micro doses. I think the thing you want to prevent is either that something that is so catastrophic, like trauma wise, that it literally almost like severs who they like their identity a little bit. That's when you get like severe things downstream, but couldn't agree more. And I have 2 with a 3rd daughter on the way. So I love hearing you say that because it's something you question too, as you're parenting, like, cause it's a fine line, man. And you're always walking it of like, how hard can I be? Like, and that I think if you're asking that question, you're probably in a good spot already. Because you think of the ones that don't ask that question are the ones that are doing things that could potentially leave downstream effects that like that kid's gonna have to wrestle with. But then once again, there comes in the argument that even if you have those things happen to you, that like you still, if you're willing to transcend out of being a victim of that, you can come out on the other end probably more wise than an individual who doesn't. So that's a fascinating conversation.
Impossible question,
I know,
especially with girls. We all have girls, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a guy raising a girl.
Yeah.
Like we're naturally softer, man. Like it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like if I had a son, I feel like it'd be really easy to discipline him because he's one of me, right? Like I can. That's we're men. We got to be taught, a tough love. But with a daughter, man, mine's 3. It's like, man, she's got me all figured out. But at some point, obviously, you got to set those boundaries
for sure.
That's $1 million question. If you guys ever find the answer, let me know. I'd love to have it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And they're all different. I have 3. I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And my 6-year-old, she's little me. Like I can treat her, I can wrestle with her and everything. The 7-year-old is a little more emotional, so you have to pick and choose your target.
Yeah.